Good afternoon. This is Małgorzata Kurzępa, Fairhouse Investments. I'm a founder and director of the company which invests in properties in UK for over 8 years and 10 years altogether. Every Sunday around midday or 1 p.m., I'm coming to you with another subject connected to investing in properties. And today I wanted to tell you about 5 lessons I got from life in 2020, which I really hope improve my experience in investing, and I definitely use it in the future, in my future decisions making. So the first lesson I got from 2020 was to do not limit my activities to the business, to the business itself, or to investing in properties. There is outside world and we still live in it. It doesn't matter if you want it or not. There are things happening out there and we just have to take them under consideration when we're making our decision, even if these are decisions about the properties. The things that cannot be missed or cannot be ignored. For a long time as a property investor, I claimed I live in a bubble. I was thinking it's investing is somehow protected from the outside world. People has to live somewhere. They would never resign of it. There would always be a demand for rental properties. So I was thinking whatever is going on outside, it doesn't influence me. You probably know what I'm trying to tell you now, that I was very, very wrong about it. So at the beginning of 2020, at the beginning of March 2020, I took a rent-to-rent property as a service apartment. Now you probably laugh at me because you probably could easily guess what happened later. So suddenly the country economics could not be ignored by me anymore. The flat is rented now to the key workers, so it's rented most of the time. So I'm not losing money on it, but I'm also not making business as I expected. So because it's still around zero, slightly above it, sometimes slightly below, I have to admit the management company is doing great job about this flat. Peter Juhasz is a great guy. He really knows what he's doing. So I strongly advise, if you're thinking about cooperating with management company, he's a great person to work with. So he's doing great job. So as I said, I'm not losing money on this property, but I'm not making money, which is the idea of investing. So I'm waiting now until the economical situation improve, when the flat will start making money. There was also issues with the landlord and the agency, which they are not very cooperating. There was a moment when there was a leak from the bathroom. The agency just basically closed the bathroom. So this is 2-bedroom flat with 2 baths. So it was not a big issue, but still it was quite inconvenient for some of the guests. We also lost some of the reservations because of it. So I realized that it was just my mistake, because I didn't want to accept the fact that I'm not living in my own world. I'm living in a big world, and the big world, doesn't matter if I want it or not, influence me. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But as I said, we can't just ignore the fact that we're part of the bigger business. It's not only our small business, even if compared to other branches of economy, I think still investing in properties is quite resistant well to the crisis. So eventually, as I said, the things are not that bad as they expected, but I made an investment and I really want to get my money back. The second thing, the second lesson from 2020 is trust but check. You know, my investment strategy is single let, and most of my properties, I live in London, most of my properties are outside London, so I invest in different parts of the country. I already have a plan to focus on two particular locations, and this is my plan for the coming year. I've already started buying properties there. But so far, I'm still testing different builders, different contractors, plumbers, electricians, you know, letting agents, uh, conveyancers, you name them, you know, and variable ways of supervising them, because this is another aspect of my investing that I'm trying to do remotely as much things as possible. So I have a group of friends, friends investors. We help and support each other, but I'm still looking for new people I want to cooperate with. So at the beginning of year 2020, I met a guy who called himself a sorcerer. I mean, he was a sorcerer, and I also hired him as project manager. We decided to do first project together to see how it will work. Um, it appeared that he would be a perfect person for my needs. I went to see his previous projects. He also showed me the project he was currently working on. He owned his own properties. He had an experience in doing projects for investors. So it looked like everything was fine. He was not a newbie. He knew what he was doing. He found a property in the area he was familiar to. I purchased this property and we started a refurbishment project. I went to see everything after 2 weeks and everything looked fine, but it was, you know, after they started the big work. So basically everything was slightly demolished, but it looked like there is a progress in work. Everything is going in good direction. So later, the property is quite far away from the place where I live. So later, he basically was sending me videos with the progress of work. I was quite happy with these videos. Of course, I'm aware now that if I go there, I would see what was wrong with the property, and I would see the little issue which I didn't like. And I don't think if it was his bad will that he didn't or he didn't want to so sorry, I don't think there were things he didn't want to show me. It's just he didn't pay attention to them. You know, he was showing me the progress of work, not the little issue which eventually I didn't like, and he thought there's nothing wrong with them. So the project was supposed to last approximately 8 weeks. The videos were fine. There was a progress of work. I was paying the bills on a regular basis. Everything was going according to the plan until the moment when the project was finished and I went there to see it. And I end up in tears. In my opinion, the property looked, at pictures it looked nice, but when you gave it a closer look, the finish was like in a stable. I will tell you only about two things. The first was the tiles in the bathroom. One of the tiles was broken, so probably something unacceptable that the tiler finished the job, that one of the tiles is broken and you accept it. The second thing, the tiles when they were coming, which were coming towards the bath, each of them has a different length. So there was like a little stairs between the tiles and the bath panel. So it didn't look nice. I asked him to fix it. Of course, I was aware that it's not possible to replace the tiles because the only thing you actually could do was to remove the tiles and put the new ones. But of course, I was aware of the fact that I will have to pay for it. So I asked him to fix it somehow, and he fixed it the way that they fill the gaps between the bath and the tiles on the floor with white silicone, which looked even worse than before. When I asked him why he didn't use the dark silicone, like the dark floor, the tiles were like wooden effect, so basically chocolate brown, something like this. He said that this is a standard, that you use the silicone like in the color of tiles. He said the tiles are brown. But he said, but the tiles on the wall are white. So something that is difficult to discuss. Only the cherry on the cake, on the top of the cake, was that when tenants moved in, they realized that the oven is not working. And because the furniture in the kitchen cupboards were painted, so they had to remove the guy and whoever he was working with. They had to remove the oven, paint the cupboards, and put the oven back. And they didn't even bother to check if it's working. So now, if you want to know how to replace the oven over the phone, just give me a shout. I explain it to you. It's possible. Believe me, it is possible. So when I didn't like the finish, I told the guy that I don't like the finish and it's just not acceptable. He was very surprised. He didn't know what I'm talking about. And actually, he told me that the standard of the finish is very good as for this neighborhood. So then I realized what was my mistake. I just wasn't from this neighborhood. So probably this is why I didn't understand it. But I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just trying to tell you that even if you use all your knowledge and all your experience, you write everything down, there could be still some issues at the end. This is why you just can't leave the project going on by itself. Unfortunately, you just have to control it, especially if you cooperate with the new person. If someone has done something for you already and this is your third, fifth, 10th project, sometimes you don't have to supervise this person. However, I heard a story from a friend of mine, a friend investor of mine, that he had a similar experience with the guy who used to work for him plenty times before. But the guy actually decided, because my friend, he felt my friend would always give him a job. He said he could relax slightly and deliver lower quality because he would always have a job with my friend. He was wrong. Anyway, coming back to the subject, you definitely have to supervise the work and also make as much agreements in advance as you can. So I just didn't sign. I didn't put in my contract that I expect a good standard. So I couldn't expect it probably. I know it sounds funny, but now I've learned my lesson, and I really hope that next time, when with my next refurbishment project, which is coming soon, I would be more careful, and probably I would be going to see it every second day. I was so disappointed. If you see that someone that the tiler finished the bathroom and the tile is broken, would you pay him? Because I wouldn't. I would say, come on, man, you finish it, you change it, you replace it, you do it again, do it however you want to do it, but it must look good, while my project manager just paid this guy and he didn't say anything. This is something I just don't understand. The third lesson from 2020 is don't listen to anyone. Just take full responsibility for your life and for your decisions and for your business. Napoleon Hill said that number one reason people fail in life is because they listen to their friends, family, and neighbors. The fear is a very poor advisor, and what drives most of the people in the world, especially the one who lack the knowledge and experience, is just fear. So in property investing, you should use your knowledge and experience. If you feel that you're short of it, just move using baby steps, but always move forward. Constantly gather more knowledge. Don't lose any opportunity to speak to more experienced people, to attend a webinar or network event while you can, of course. Now we can't meet face to face, but there are plenty of online networking groups and networking meetings. So everything is still available. You just have to find the proper way and time to do it. The experience and wisdom will come with time, but remember, you have to walk forward to meet them. No one would pay your bills, so don't let them steal your dreams. Even when you ask an expert for advice and you're sure about his pure intentions, filter his answers through the sieve of your personal circumstances. He could still have missed something, or you just forgot to tell him. Many times, the people advise you to step back from something because they love you and they care of you. They don't want you to suffer from failure. It's not because they don't believe in you, it's just sometimes this is the lack of their imagination, or their imagination is too limited to see and understand your goal, because it's not their goal, it's just yours. Napoleon Hill said the starting point of all achievement is desire. So remember to say that success is not exactly the point in the future, it's also the way that takes us there. You should be tempted, you should not be tempted by distractions, by friends, but by family, but by Netflix, whatever. Therefore, in my opinion, you need a really desirable goal. Best, not the materialistic one, which helps you keep yourself on the path. The goal, like a luxury car or luxury home or house in Spain, for example, it's, in my opinion, it's not serious enough. It's not something that keeps you on your track. So something you can buy with money would, because the money would appear anyway, so you probably would be able to buy something luxury even before the end of your, before you reach your proper goal. Maybe you will change it then. But in my opinion, the best option is just to set non-materialistic goal, like something that lets you spend time with your family, or the charity work. You know, the charity is my idea fix. You know, I always had it in mind that I should give more to the society. From my childhood, I remember there were many places where kids could spend time and develop their skills. Now all these places were closed down, at least in Poland. I don't know how it worked. It used to work here and how it works now. Even in the cities where theoretically there are still professionals who could share their knowledge with children for free, there's just no facilities to do it. So I think this is consistent with the level of development of the society, how they deal with people who need to be taken care of, like children or senior or people somehow experienced by life who cannot take a proper care of themselves. Each society has a small percentage of vulnerable people, and we need society members to take care of them via charities, for example. Unfortunately, nowadays we are too busy taking care of ourselves, so we don't have enough spare time for others. I think it would be great if, having a source of passive income, you could take care of these kids, for example. Maybe you just develop a course or an online course for them, like how to use the social media to successfully promote your business, or something like how to develop a website, or start a charity setting the computer or internet access for them, or coaching and coaches to teach them how to do this useful stuff. You know, later they could use it for their own reasons, or they could offer the service for the companies, maybe small companies which cannot afford to hire professionals, but you know, the kids could share their knowledge, use their skills to, for example, operate social media for the small business, so they could earn small money, and startup business could also save at the beginning before they could invest more. So in my opinion, it's a great idea. I really hope I would be able to find people who help me to do it in the future. So you can think that this sounds silly, but if you really consider all pros and cons, it's not impossible, and it's not that difficult. It's just something we don't have in mind, but it doesn't mean that it cannot happen. So don't look at the others. Wherever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect. This is what Mark Twain said. The majority statistically is wrong. If something is good for the majority of the society, it's usually not great for a single society member like you. So, of course, we used to live in the society. We are usually surrounded by people who greatly influence us. But this will take me and you to point 4, which is look for like-minded people and positive people. This is my fourth lesson. Does your friends moan that instead of going out with them, you spend your evenings at the computer desk surfing on Rightmove or Zoopla? By the way, which of these two are your favorite? I definitely prefer Zoopla, but of course I'm using both of them. What should you tell them? Probably nothing, because they gave up after a while, if you don't go out with them once, twice, third time, they just stop asking you. So the issue would resolve it by itself. Maybe you have some family members who are asking you difficult questions, like, the Aunt Mary, who's always asking, when would you have kids? When would you buy the bigger house? Or, things like this. I always feel that with family members, especially the one which you don't see on a regular basis, you probably see your parents quite often or siblings, but not probably the auntie. So even with someone who you see on a regular basis, you just talk to them about normal things, just don't go to the difficult subjects and just try to avoid something that could create problems. I remember, I used to have an auntie, and I used to take her for cemetery every time she wanted to go to cemetery, and her daughter laughed at her. She was like, "Why are you taking her for cemetery? It's a horrible place." But she was telling me stories about the people who, this under this stone is lying the lady who went for her honeymoon to the mountain, and she fell down off the top, and she died. Or here is the guy who was a thief, and once they caught him because he robbed someone, he got into big issues. It was funny, and it was inspiring, and I was because it created my desire to know the history of my town better. And I think for her, it's also like travel in the past, in the time when she was younger and more active, when she had plenty of friends. She was probably then younger than I am now. Anyway, this was a perfect auntie. This was very positive auntie. There was no issues with her. She was always asking me the right question, and she always supported me. So probably it was easy. But what I'm trying to tell you, even with the family members, there is always something to do. You don't have to talk to them, or you don't have to talk to them about the difficult things. Regarding friends, of course, you choose your friends by yourself, or you just gather together. There are some reasons why you stick to one person and not to another. When you realize that you have nothing in common with your so-called friends, then it's probably time to move on and find new ones. Like taking clothes from your closet to the charity shop to make a space for the new ones. The same thing you actually should do with the people who surrounds you. Maybe sometimes it's just time to review them, look at them, talk to them maybe, and just put them somewhere further away from yourself. Do you feel low and you're afraid that you won't find new friends? If your current friends do not support you in the pathway to your goals, it probably means that it's time to move on and just leave them behind. Friends are around us to support us, to hug us when we need it, to make us feel better, take us out for coffee or bake for us a cake, to be on your side when you are successful and share your happiness. Remember also that you own the same thing to your friends. So if the friends you have currently around you don't do it for you, it's time to move on, time to leave them. The fifth lesson from 2020 is just do what you love. I know you told me it's an old thing and it doesn't work anymore. When I was collecting materials for this video, I came across these, pieces of wood, with a statement, love what you do and you won't work a minute in your life. So agree with me or not, I believe in it. I think it's really good and it's really true. For people who knows me, you know that I have two passions in my life: medicine and investing in properties. And I'm sharing my life between these two, and between my private life, my family life. So I really don't feel that I work very hard, because I just love what I'm doing. I have to admit there is one issue with getting up early in the morning, but I'm working on it. Otherwise, I really feel fulfilled, and I really feel happy in what I'm doing in my life. Of course, I would like to move my life more to property investing than slightly away from medicine. But I also know that when my company start being passive, I probably go back to medicine. It's just difficult to progress equally into subjects in the same time. And if you think that these two disciplines are far away from each other, I will have to tell you, you're just wrong. They have plenty in common. In both cases, you just help people who are in worse condition, wealth-wise or psychological or materialistic than you are. And unfortunately, so often there are people on both sides who are in need of long-term resolutions, like giving them the right diagnosis. I let them receive proper treatment, and as soon as they need it as possible. By delivering nice and cozy houses, I'm giving them homes. So this is all. These are all my lessons from 2020. The first one is to look out for the outside world, watch what is going out there. Second, trust but control. Third, wow, I forgot. Third, make your own decisions. Fourth, and don't listen to others. Fourth, spend time with like-minded people. And fifth, just love what you do, or do what you love. Last week I promised to tell you about some funny things which happened to in my investors journey, but actually I haven't found anything really happy. So I could only share with you my personal experience. You know, when I came to UK first time, I remember I rented a flat and I couldn't lock the doors, and I had no idea that you have to pull up the handle before you turn the lock. And the second thing, what happened, quite funny actually, and I moved to the new, it was a flat in the block of houses, and someone locked the outside door. You could lock the door from outside, but you cannot open it from inside. So I have to leave my flat via, it was a ground floor flat, so I leave it via window, but I don't know what other people were doing. It happened twice, and later probably someone explained to the person who did it that you shouldn't do it. So these are these two funny things. If you find my video interesting, just give me the thumb up, or if you or maybe a little how to say it? Oh yeah, a little heart. If you have any questions for me regarding investing in properties, you can ask them, of course, in the comments. I will be more than happy to answer all your questions. And now I wish you a wonderful Sunday. Małgorzata Kurzępa, Fair House Investments. Thank you very much. Bye bye.